It was 1:25 at night. The road was empty. All around was darkness and the sound of the engine. The boy didn't know that the person he would get into his car tonight had long since died. But he still kept going, because the fear hadn't started yet. It would start a little later, when he would see a pair of eyes in the looking glass, and a dead man's voice would ring in his ears.
Will you be able to go home today?
The roads of Dinajpur were silent then. A young man, not very old, went out in his auto every night. His father had been gone for 13 years. His siblings were busy with their own families. Only his mother and he, each relying on the other. Studying during the day, on the road at night. This was how his life went on. Wednesday night began like any other 10 nights. He was returning from dropping passengers 20 kilometers from the city. It was 1:25 in the night. The road was completely empty, darkness swallowing everything on both sides. Suddenly, he saw someone lying on the road. He was writhing, as if he was groaning in pain. It felt like an accident. He ran towards the man, lying in a deserted alley, 200 meters from the main road. But as soon as he got close, he stopped. There was no one. No one anywhere. Only darkness and the sound of his own heart. It felt like a mistake in his eyes. He got back into the auto, trying to convince himself. As he went a little further, the real scene came into view. A motorcycle was lying in the middle of the road, surrounded by a few people. One of them had an accident and was still breathing. He was asked to take him to the hospital. The boy agreed. But as he was picking up the man in the auto, a strange, cold feeling suddenly swept through his chest. This man, this face, this body shape. As if it was the reflection of the shadow figure that had been lying on the road a while ago. But darkness can create illusions. He stopped himself with that reasoning. The man got into the auto. The others said, "You go alone. We will follow on bikes." The car was driving along a dark road. The man sitting behind was moaning, groaning in pain, and the boy was whispering comforting words from time to time. Just a little longer. We're almost there. The hospital was about 40 minutes away, but after 10 or 15 minutes, a strange silence descended on the car. There were no more moans, no more sounds. A wave of pain coursed through his chest. Maybe the man was no more. Maybe he couldn't be saved despite all his efforts. Upon reaching the hospital, the doctor examined him and said that the man was dead. The body was handed over to the police. The boy, with the rent money in his hand, set off for home again. The clock showed 3 minutes to 3 in the morning. It would take half an hour to go on the normal road, but there was a shortcut. A long, empty road, then a cemetery, then a 3-way intersection. From there, home was within reach. With a tired body and sleepy eyes, he drove along that empty road. At first, he didn't understand anything, only the wind. But slowly, the wind became terrible. It started blowing so hard that it became a burden to drive. And just then, his eyes fell on the looking glass, the man sitting in the back seat, the one he had taken to the hospital himself, the one the doctor had declared dead. He immediately slammed on the brakes. And then that voice came to his ears, serious, cold, trembling with anger. "Kyer, you could have saved me, but you didn't. Will you be able to go home today?" The boy couldn't believe his ears. His whole body froze with fear. And then a strong gust of wind knocked him and his car off the road. He realized that this was no ordinary incident. He tried to run towards the road, but the wind was repeatedly lifting him into the air and knocking him to the ground. He felt a severe blow on his back. His clothes were soaked in blood. No sound came out of his throat, only intense thirst and fear of death in his chest. There is only one call in my heart. God, save me. With great difficulty, a cry came out of his throat. Allah, and at that moment, his body seemed to lighten up a bit. Sitting down, he began to recite Ayatul Kursi, one prayer after another. And as he turned his eyes to the right, he saw a cemetery right in front of him. He remembered, there is no holier refuge than a cemetery in times of danger. He turned on his phone's flashlight and ran towards it. But as he entered, he heard the voice again, this time closer. "Hey, won't you get out of here?" Then it was all dark. He lost consciousness inside the cemetery. The boy didn't even know how long he had been unconscious. When he opened his eyes, the time on the phone screen showed 3:10. It was hard for him to accept that so much had happened in just 10 minutes. He picked up the phone with shaking hands and called his elder brother. And as he spoke, he burst into tears. He told him everything that had happened. His brother rushed to tell him to stay there. By then, the auto was almost immobile, and he had to tie it to another car and pull it home. It seemed like the end. But in fact, that was just the beginning. It took him a whole week to recover. On the 8th day, he decided not to drive at night anymore. But after taking the car out in the morning, he noticed another abnormality. The car would become heavier as evening fell, as if many people were sitting inside at once. Still, he had to drive because of his stomach. One day, he picked up a Huzur as a passenger. He asked him to stop the car to throw garbage in an empty spot on the road. But as he was about to throw garbage in the dustbin, he suddenly looked at the car and shouted, "Who did you take in the car? This is not a human being." The familiar, serious voice came from inside the car. "You can't do anything to me. I died for this. I will not let this one go." The boy ran to a crowded place in fear and asked for help. When he returned with a few people, he saw that Huzur was lying unconscious next to the car. After regaining consciousness, he told them that he had managed to remove the evil spirit from the car like today. But it would come back again, because it was not an ordinary spirit, but a powerful evil jinn. The next day, the boy ran to the imam of the mosque. After the Zuhr prayer, the imam led the funeral prayer in absentia with the worshippers, gave them water, and advised them not to leave the house for 3 days. Since then, he has not had any more problems. The night road, those eyes in the looking glass, and that question ringing in his ears, "Will you be able to go home today?" are still etched in his mind, becoming an indelible memory. She was only 12 years old. A small village, a pond, and a favorite swing tied between 2 old palm trees. Who knew? The darkness standing next to that swing had actually been waiting for many years, just for her. And the day she broke that wait, 8 years of her life were lost in an instant. When she opened her eyes, she did not know that she was no longer 12, she was 21. A small village in India. Not a city. There was no noise there, only greenery and silence. Next to the house was a large pond where fish were farmed. On one side of the pond was a thick bamboo grove, and 2 old palm trees stood next to it. Between those 2 trees was a swing tied, the girl's favorite place. As beautiful as the place looked during the day, it became just as creepy when night fell. But the little girl was not afraid of it. Whenever she had time in between studies, she would run to the swing, sit and watch the fish play in the pond. One Saturday night, she suddenly remembered that she had left her water pot near the swing. She was very thirsty. It was 12 o'clock in the night. She went to call her mother, but her mother did not respond. She had fallen asleep. She called her brother from the next room, and the brother said in a sleepy voice, "Come, I'm following you." But it was clear from the tone of the words that brother would not actually go. It was just to keep her mind. Nevertheless, the girl, not afraid, walked alone through the darkness towards the swing. As she picked up the water pot, a whisper came to her ears. The voice of someone who had been waiting for this exact moment for many years. I have been waiting for this day for many years, and you have broken through that wait and come. Now, look what happens to you." The girl froze in fear. She wanted to scream loudly and call her brother, but no sound came out of her throat. Everything went dark before his eyes, and he lost consciousness right there. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in an unfamiliar room. She looked around and saw her brother, father, mother, and with them a small boy, about 8 years old. Father had a full beard on his face. Brother had a mustache under his nose. When did all this happen? She got annoyed and said to everyone, "Are you trying to scare me? I don't get scared so easily, stop joking." As soon as she said this, her brother hugged her and cried, "My sister is completely fine. Ismail can now play with his sister." Ismail? Who is Ismail? The girl couldn't understand anything. She only knew that today was Sunday, and she was supposed to go to the park with her friend Shakila. Her throat was getting dry with thirst. Father brought her a glass of water, and as she poured the water, her eyes got wet. Then what she heard made her want to burst into tears and go inside. Father said, "Uncle, it's 1990. Today you turn 21. And that friend of yours, Shakila, is getting married next week." Auntie suddenly stopped. Tears welled up in her eyes as she spoke, and unable to control herself, she went into the room crying. Then the brother, who was now uncle, slowly began to tell the whole story, what had really happened that night. Hearing her sister go out, the brother did not sleep. He just lay there with his eyes closed, waiting for her sister to return. But even after a long time had passed, her sister did not return. At that moment, a sound came to her ears. Something was falling into the pond, repeatedly. At first, she did not pay attention, but suddenly she remembered that her sister had gone towards the pond. She jumped out of bed and ran outside. She could not believe what she saw. Her sister was floating in the air in the middle of the pond, falling into the water once, rising to the sky again, falling again. She screamed and called her parents. Her mother was pregnant at the time, so she could not go out. But her father came running. As soon as they reached her, someone threw her sister into the bamboo grove. She broke through the bamboo branches and fell to the ground. He was quickly taken to the hospital. Even though she returned home physically healthy, her sister was no longer the same. She was silent, liked to be alone, and kept the lights in her room off at night, something she had never done before. She often went without eating and threw food out the window when given. Her body slowly began to wither. In the midst of all this, a new member was born in the family, her younger brother Ismail. One night, her father got up to go to the toilet and heard the sound of some voices coming from her sister's room, as if someone was talking to someone. He thought that maybe his girlfriend had come, but that was impossible at such a time of night. When he listened closely, the language did not sound familiar. Just then, an unfamiliar voice came to him. "Can you understand our language?" Without being afraid, he opened the door and saw that everything was normal. Her sister was sleeping in bed. But this incident started happening every night. The words coming from the room could never be understood, and the sister's own voice could not even be heard. Slowly, a foul stench began to waft from the room, as if no one could survive inside. 3 years passed like this. The sister sometimes played with her younger brother Ismail. But that game was terrible. She would walk around the house holding Ismail's head in one hand, tying a rope to both legs and pulling him. When her mother tried to stop her, her sister would curse her in foul language. The neighbors said that at night, the house would emit a strange sound of laughter. Finally, the father decided to investigate the language coming from her sister's room. He found out that it was Latin. An older brother, who was a neighbor, knew Latin and brought him home one night. After hearing all the conversations, the brother told him there were 3 voices in the room, one with a deep and serious voice, the other two with voices similar to their age. That deep voice was saying, "Why are you bothering me? You will never be able to be with me. You are just wasting your time on this girl. Go away." And the other two were answering, "It's good that our father is dead. You killed our mother and sister, but you can't kill us, because we are as strong as our father. We will fulfill the promise that father could not fulfill." Hearing this, father decided to bring a big huzur to the house. A famous huzur was called from Punjab. As soon as he entered the house, he sat down on a chair and closed his eyes. After a while, he opened his eyes and said to his father, "I can solve this problem." He asked him to bring some things: 3 glass jars, a bamboo stick the size of a hand, and some materials. He filled a bottle with sand, soil, hair, and torn pieces of his sister's clothes, recited a prayer, and put the lid on it. He told his father that he should bury it in the place where the swing was located on the bank of the pond. But instead of reducing the problem, it became more complicated. His sister's appearance became more terrible. Her physical and mental condition deteriorated further. There was also a strange change in her food. She seemed to prefer inedible foods. This is how the family spent their days in hardship. Then one day, suddenly, my father met another huzur, who knew about the incident in their house on his own, even though no one had told him anything. My father was surprised. This huzur came to the house, placed his hand on his sister's head, closed his eyes, and after 20 minutes opened his eyes and told her the real truth. The girl's grandfather was a poet himself. As soon as the girl was born, the grandfather understood that black magic would be cast on his granddaughter, and that it would be done by his own brother, who could never tolerate his brother's success, could not accept the loss of his property behind his granddaughter. So the grandfather had already appointed a genie to protect his granddaughter, ordering him to stay by her side until the girl was 20. But unfortunately, when the girl was 12, that protective genie died himself, because like humans, they too die. It was during that free time that the bad genie took possession of the girl. However, the disaster wasn't complete, because the wife of the dead protective genie rushed to keep her husband's promise. She was also killed. Then came his daughter, who was also killed. Finally, 2 sons came, but they were not as strong as their father and could not cope with the bad genie. It was at this time that the first hypocrite made a mistake. Instead of restraining the bad genie, he imprisoned the 2 good genies. As a result, the situation became even more dire. This master took the father to the hypocritical master. It is known that all those with whom he had helped him do this have died long ago. However, one of their friends was found, who told him that the grandfather actually had 2 jinns, one named Abraham, the other Akas. Abraham was a good jinn, but angry and very strong. He was imprisoned in a banyan tree for the rest of his life, because he could not be easily controlled by his grandfather. And Akas was humble, polite, so he used to live with his grandfather. When everyone went there after finding the banyan tree, they found that Abraham was still alive. He was freed and brought to India. It was reported that by then, the evil spirit had taken the girl's life. The 2 spirits were seated on one seat, Abraham and the evil spirit. A fierce argument, even a fight, broke out between them. Finally, the master became frustrated and said, "Despite trying so hard, I couldn't do anything. He won't agree to anything." As he was leaving the house, a voice suddenly came from behind him. "I am Abraham." Abraham Jinn said, "The girl's grandfather loved me very much, but my anger forced him to imprison me in this tree. So I decided I will give my life to restore the life of his granddaughter. And that is why I killed that hypocritical master and freed the 2 sons of Akas. When this girl turns 20, that very day her life will be restored from the evil jinn. And that very day, we two brothers will be freed, because our father's promise will be fulfilled. Saying this, Abraham said goodbye and left. Exactly 7 months later, the girl turned 20. And those 7 months, the girl spent in a hospital bed, in a deep coma, somewhere between life and death. Uncle stopped here. Auntie was already listening to everything from inside the house, standing behind the door. That day, no more students were taught. Uncle, Auntie, and his student had to say goodbye to their father and return home. With a strange burden on their minds, 8 years lost from a life, the price of going to fetch a water jug left by a swing. Even today, when the wind blows a little too hard near the swing at night, I remember this story. The incident that I will tell you today happened in the life of a very close acquaintance of Avinashta's father-in-law. The incident is absolutely true. Avinashta's in-laws' house is in Mubarakganj, Jessore district. His wife's name is Oishi. Oishi Didi is the youngest of 5 siblings. One day, Oishi Didi told us about her father's terrible experience. Her father started having strange dreams for a few days. Almost every day, he would see 7 shadows or figures in his dreams who would come to scare him. One night, he suddenly woke up in his sleep. He saw that those 7 bodies were standing next to his bed. A terrible stench was coming from them. He was stunned with fear. He tried to wake his wife, but just then those bodies disappeared into the air. His wife thought that she was having a bad dream, so she calmed him down and asked him to go back to sleep. After that, Oishe Didi's father's physical condition started to deteriorate. One day, he stopped eating. He said, today his body feels very bad. For the next 3 days, he completely fell into bed. Chest pain, neck tension. His body became very weak. Everyone in the family saw the best doctors in the city, but no disease was detected in the tests. His body was gradually drying up. He could not eat. It was difficult to even speak. Oishe Didi's family was in despair. At that time, a friend of her elder brother came to see him. The friend said, "My father is a poet. He has seen many such cases." The next day, the poet came. As soon as he entered the house, he said, "There is a jinn living in this house. Your father is being tormented by 7 jinn through black magic." He also said, "If I go to free them, they may harm me. I am not capable of this task, but I know someone who can. Madhav Kabiraj." Then they went to Madhav Kabiraj's address and contacted him. The next day, Madhav Kabiraj came to their house. Upon entering the house, he said, "7 jinns have been sent on your father. Black magic has been done through a doll, where your father's hair and used clothes were used. And this work was done by someone very close to you." He also said, "The power of this magic is very high. Time has been wasted, but if you try, salvation is possible." He said that a sacrifice will have to be performed at night, for which a brave man is needed. Oishe Didi's elder brother Saurabh agreed. When the night was dark, Kabiraj and Saurabh went out. First, they went to the old cremation ground in the village. Suddenly, the wind started blowing strongly around. The trees moved, and the water of the river swirled. Kabiraj pointed out, "Dig the soil at this place." As soon as Saurabh used a spade, a clay pitcher came out. Inside it was a doll and a needle mark on the chest. One by one, he picked up 4 pitchers from the crematorium. Then, he went to the graveyard. 3 more pitchers were also taken there. A total of 7 dolls, 7 jinn. Each one was similarly black magic cast. All the dolls were destroyed. He said, "Now the problem is solved. Leave a kasi and some sweets in the open field in the evening, and this amulet will be worn for 6 months. Otherwise, there will be danger." Before leaving, Oishe Didi's mother wants to know who did this. Madhav Kabiraj was silent for a while. Then he said, "Your younger sister-in-law, meaning the wife of the younger brother. She did that black magic because of a dispute over property. Since then, Oishe Didi's father has been slowly recovering. However, even today, I have heard that he sometimes dreams of unusual things." The incident took place around 2010 in Mubarakganj, Jessore district. I heard this incident myself from Avinash. I asked him about it from time to time. The incident is completely true. If it is selected, it would be nice to know.